Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey. And I got this monstrous box here. You can probably see from that distance from the camera what this is. It's a big box. We're gonna empty it and find out what's inside it. Of course, we know what's inside it. It's got a big 18 and it says Jameson. Now this is interesting because now I'm seeing a box inside a box. So let's see if we can get this box out. I'm tipping it upside down. This is kind of hilarious. A box within a box. I guess they're trying to protect the box. There we are. The box within the box. Let's get it back up right. What a pretty looking box. Okay. Let's take a peek and we'll put this guy over here. And let's just take a look here. Ooh, isn't that nice? I'll let you take a look there. 46% ABV. Jameson 18-year-old. Yeah, they've upped it from 40%, so there you are. And nice presentation. Forgot what I paid for this, actually. We have to figure out how this comes out. Oh, there it does. Not as complicated as... Oh, look at that nice little bell. Yeah. Anyways, nice. 18-year-old box there. I guess we can throw that one over there. And I want to pour this guy because it is an 18 and it's got to sit for a while. So why don't we open it up and talk a little bit about Jameson. Now, I just finished doing a Bushmill. I did mention that I was never much of a Jameson go-to. I'd had the odd one, but I was more of a Bushmill when I was younger. And we were talking way back in the 70s. When I did the Bushmill 12, I think I mentioned in the review that I didn't know squat about, malted barley, single malts. Everything was whiskey. There was Irish whiskey, there was blended Scotch whiskeys, but we just call it Scotch. And I did mention that Bushmills, for some reason, was more the go-to for the guys I worked with, or the people I worked with in the oil business, as well as the college kids I hung out with. This caught my eye because it was not 40, but 46%. And I thought, darn it, I've got to try that. Now, I've done a Tyrcanol review on the Madeira, 15-year-old Madeira, and the 16-year-old, I believe it was Muscatel, and I forget if it was Pedro or Oloroso, but anyways, Muscatel and Sherry. And they were both really good. I was impressed with them. The 16-year-old was unreal. That's a rich, one of my favorites in Irish for sure. Tyrcanol. It's a single malt. A little different than this. Now this is triple distilled at 46%, so we know there is a little bit of grain alcohol in here. I'm not sure if it's corn or whatever it is they put in, but there is a small percentage of it. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you're going to see the legs or not, but... And there is the bottle. Again, I do not think there's any color added to this. I think it's natural. Jameson is an old distillery, and John Jameson, he was the manager, and eventually, turn of the 1800s there, he purchased the distillery, and it got big. They called it a city within a city, the old Bow Street. It eventually moved in 1975 down to Middleton when they formed Irish Distillers. They couldn't expand the Bow Street distillery in Dublin, so they had room to expand the Cork distillery down in Middleton. So that's where everything was moved. But anyways, we're going to let this sit here for about a half an hour, and we'll come back, and I'll have a short presentation. You can watch it there, and then we'll see what this is all about. Enjoy the short presentation. Cheers. John Jameson, born in Lois, Scotland in 1740, was actually a lawyer who came to Dublin in the late 1770s. In 1786, he became the manager of Stein's family Bow Street distillery. His son John followed and managed it in 1804 before the Jamesons had purchased it 2 years later. In 1810, they changed the name to John Jameson & Sons Irish Whiskey. There were over 40 distilleries operating in Dublin by 1851, and now we have the third John Jameson, the grandson of the founder, that is in charge of the Bow Street Distillery. By 1870, Bow Street Distillery was a city within a city, employing hundreds of workers, including carpenters, coopers, stonemasons, painters, blacksmiths, and a few cats to control the rats and mice. In 1875, John Jameson IV, known as Jack, followed his father's footsteps of running the business, including Justice of the Peace and High Sheriff of Dublin. This had been the golden age of Irish whiskey, with 12 million cases produced yearly from 88 licensed distilleries, and Jameson's being one of the largest distilleries in the world. In 1905, the fifth Jameson, Andrews, saw the tail end of the golden era and the changes about to come. World War I created a coal shortage, then an epidemic, and finally a shortage of corn. Jameson had to finally shut down from 1917 to 1918. By 1919, things were back at peak production again until the coming of both Prohibition and then the Depression in the United States, which killed one of Jameson's major markets. The sixth Jameson boss was George Lionel Jameson, who served as a captain during the Boer War. He was to take over management in 1941 during World War II, which brought on even more shortages. Tough times had left only 3 remaining distilleries in the Irish Republic: John Jameson and Son, John Power and Son, and the Cork Distillery. In 1961, the last of the Jameson descendants to head the company, Alec Crichton, presented a plan to merge the 3 companies for survival and form Irish Distillers. In June 1970, after 200 years, the Bow Street Distillery shut down, and Jameson moved their whiskey production to Middleton. In June 1988, Grand Metropolitan and Guinness tried a hostile takeover of Irish distillers, but the Irish company preferred a deal with Pernod Ricard, who now is their mother company. Both the old Bow Street and the old Middleton distilleries have now been renovated into visitor experience centers. Pernod Ricard is investing £250 million into the new Middleton distillery. Well, welcome back, and without further ado, let's get right into the nose. Jameson 18, 46% ABV. We've got a rich nose here, some leather notes, a little bit of muskiness, but that's going to be sweetness followed with, I'm going to say, vanilla fudge maybe, and maybe even some creme brulee, nougat, just some rich pudding. Maybe some cherry custard going on here. We're getting some orange stuff going on, a little bit of the citrus, orange notes going on. Some tropical. That citrus has turned into the tropical here. I'm going to say mangoes, pineapple, guava, maybe some star fruit, maybe some allspice. Definitely some malting notes here. Cereal. Bit of muskiness, but a bit of orchid flower notes there. I think that's the closest I can get right now, but I'm going to jump right into lilacs. Back to the citrus notes. And the vanilla. Vanilla fudge. Boy, that was a number. Yeah, I could have kept going. So let's go after the palate. Solange. Intense. The 46 for a Jameson is quite a different, certainly a different taste and a different coating in the mouth. I'm actually getting a coating on the mouth. I'm going to say tropical fruit mixed in with some allspice. We got some pepper going on, white pepper, nutmeg, vanilla fudge. I got some creamy white chocolate, maybe even some banana mousse, tropical fruits. I'm getting more spice. That white pepper, it's there. The nutmeg is too, but we are getting some latte notes there, and orange, citrusy. The orange is more tangerine. Back to the tropical. God, almost tastes like kumquats there. And yeah, maybe even a little guava. Pineapple. It really gives a coating on the mouth. Mouth is dry. Getting a little of the dark fruits now. Just as it's bit by bit fading, but the coating's still there in my mouth, but I'm just, my ability to identify right now is getting more difficult. So I'm finishing off with dark fruits. Okay? So I'm going to say we're moving to the development and the finish. So let's do it. Develop and the finish, Jameson 18, 46%. Solange. Definitely more intense, and I'm getting a whole new coating on my mouth, oily, and I'm sweet, but spicy. Very slight astringency. I think it's the wood now, where I'm starting to identify the wood. Could be the sherry, because we're getting some dark fruits, figs, dates, with that astringency and the wood, and it's dry. Typical of your sherry and your sherry finished whiskeys. But the tropical stuff hasn't completely left. I mentioned the pineapple notes, and the mango is just showed up, but the spice is still there too, and same with the astringency. Dryness, not really. It was dry, and now my mouth is watering, so I'm not going to try to figure that one out. Finish. This is a longer finish than what I'm used to with. This is the longest finish I've ever had with a Jameson. So I'm going to leave it at that. This is an unusual Jameson because I'm not used to the 46. I haven't had any cast strength Jamesons, so I've had mostly the 40s and the 43s. So this is a new experience, and it does have a certain amount of richness to it. It's cleared my nostrils, let's put it that way. There is now toward the tail end here, I'm getting a little bit of curry, maybe. Curry, cardamom, allspice. So it's interesting. It's done a few different things here. I think we're going to have to move into the water, see what the water does. So let's add a little bit of water. We can take water with a 46, especially this one, because it did leave a slight bit of burn. And I was mentioning there that I was starting to get the wood. 18 years, you'd expect to get a bit of wood. You know, it's all about the casks. What is Jameson using for their casks? You know, what is the quality of the casks? So, and you would think for something like this, they would be focused on some good finishing, because there's a lot of competition in Ireland right now. Ireland is going through a whiskey distillery boom, and you've got to be good if you want to stay at the top. There was a time you could get away with stuff, but not anymore. There's just too many good distilleries. The craft distillery business is huge in Ireland. Ireland is the new frontier for single malts. The nose with water. More of the muskiness. And citrus. Musky flowers. You even might be getting some lilacs here. You know, it's always interesting you add water, because it's how much you add it changes things completely. I am getting very slight, there could be some charred barrels here. I'm going to say red licorice and black licorice. It's bouncing back and forth. Red licorice, black licorice. Maybe even strawberry licorice, or cherry licorice. Let's go to the palate with water. 46%, 18-year-old Jameson. Solange. Sweeten it up. Didn't get rid of the spices though, but the white pepper, is mellowing out, and I would say certainly the nutmeg dominates the white pepper right now. I'm gonna say latte, maybe even some maybe more mocha, vanilla fudge, creme brulee. Bit of the wood coming out. I had a pretty moist mouth there earlier. It's starting to dry, but it is coated. Yeah, the wood's there. I think I'm getting a bit of the sherry. I get a wee bit of the umami notes here, and I'm trying to figure out what they are, because but there's a sweetness to it. So maybe I'm going to say potato fries, sweet potato fries. Maybe that's a closer. Yam fries. Yeah, that's, I think, the closest to it. Yam fries, yeah. That's what I'm tasting. Still have a coating on my mouth, you know. So I'll stick with that finish as being a little on the long side of medium. So it's certainly deserved of, I would say, an 85, 86, somewhere in that area there, because I think it's an attempt by Jameson to do more integrity into their bottling. And this might be the first Jameson that I actually have enjoyed. So it wasn't a mistake buying it. The only reason I bought it was because it was 46. And I think it's a good start for Jameson. Maybe I'll start paying attention to them. There's just so many good whiskeys out there now. Jameson has to, they have to raise their bar. And they've been around a long time. And they're the #1 whiskey in Ireland. I think Tullamore is #2. And yet, I'm going to tell you right now, Tyrconnell 16 is one of my favorites. If you can get it. I don't even know if you can get it right now. Thank God I bought a second bottle of it. And the Madeira, and I like the yellow spots, and I like the red spots. And I love my Redbreast, one of my favorites, Redbreast. You know, I think Redbreast with this here, it would be a good comparison. And I would put the 15 up against the 18 Jameson, because I think the 15, and they're in the same price range anyway. So anyways, that's it. I'm gonna leave it at the 85, 86 area there. And so I'm gonna finish this off with drink wisely, drink intelligently, and do not drink and drive. Until the next time. So lunch.